Hey, peace and blessings, family. How are you this morning? It's your girl Rolanda in here with Sunday Sit with Sisters. Now, y'all know we're getting to the end of the year, and we're booking a lot of guests for the first of the year. It's the holidays. And so today I want to kind of come to you all a little bit in a little bit of reflection, and I hope that you would share your reflections with me. I don't know about you all, but sometimes December could be a very, very hard month for me, because it is December is usually the holidays, and in my family we have a lot of transitions during that month of very important people, and people who made the holidays and this time of year great with their cookings and their smells, and through the house of the aroma, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I don't know about you all, so I hope that you would share this conversation today. I'm not having any guests per se, but I would love to hear what you think as well. I'm going to start off by sharing a photo of, basically this photo is of my mother. Her name is May Wilkins. I am her daughter. I am her descendant. And I don't know about you all, if you have never experienced a loss in your life of a parent. And I know that everybody, and let me just say this disclaimer, and sometimes I hate disclaimers, but sometimes I understand why I have to say them. I hate disclaimers when you have to, that other people don't have to explain. Let's put it like that. But in this case, I'm going to explain this disclaimer. This is my mother, May Wilkins, who I just adore and love. And she was with us for 52 years of her life. And I was lucky to be her daughter for 25 years of that life. And you learn a lot about people when they leave as well. Not always when they're here, but you learn a lot about them when they go. And the way people remember you and think of you. Peace. Good morning, Roberta. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Veronica. Will definitely say a lot about the life that you led, not the life that you portrayed on social media or how you thought people seen you or the stuff you tell yourself in your own head. Is you really know about how people felt about you when you're gone and how they will reflect on you. So when I think about my mother, I reflect very fondly of her. And it's not so much of, because man, I could tell y'all some stories. I'm probably going to tell you one in a minute, but let me just get to this. It's like people sometimes who don't really know you, who act like they know you, just never really knew you at all. They don't know your trials, your tribulations. They don't know the things you face. My mother was one of those people, and I write about my mother quite often. I'm working on a book, so I'll be writing about her more. But I watched this woman, my mother May, come to a place that she did not know following her husband. I mean, you get married. My mother was very strong in her faith. My grandmother, who was deaf and mute, when she went to school, she went to a school that was sponsored by Catholics. So my grandmother was deaf and mute. So, my mother had this very strong faith kind of thing. Marriage meant a lot to her. And so when her husband had this great idea to move us all to Cali and away from our family, you know. My mother supported that. And I know she also supported because she knew it was going to be something better for her children, you know. So that's why, you know, California is like the wide open land. This is the final frontier for America, you know. So, you know, we seen my mom, me and my siblings, we seen her struggle a lot. We seen her make make groceries like $40 and she'd be feeding the family of 5 and 6, you know, for a month, you know, eating a lot of hearty meals. My mother was a survivor and a thriver at the same time. And she was also an arch sacrificer. So I'm going to always talk about my mom. I'm not going to make her stuff be little because somebody didn't get that from their parent. I don't ever let people do that to me. I said, well, that's your damn story. But I had a wonderful mom. And my mother worked 3 and 4 jobs for her family. You know, this woman, my mother did not get her medicine because she was buying us clothes and make sure we were straight. That's an art sacrificer. You know, she wasn't buying hair weave. You know, she had to buy medicine for herself, but she did not. She was making sure we had, which meant she didn't buy her medicine. That's very different. So that's not no, I'm a doing me. My mother was not I'm a doing me. She's like, I'm doing my children because I brought them here. So there's one story I'm gonna share, and I think my sister may be on this line here. I feel you should say, what about your dad? Yeah, you know, it's just something about the holiday. My mother, she made the holidays feel good. You know what I mean? She made the holidays, and her cooking was like superb. Like, I still love watching my mom cook. It's like watching magic in the kitchen. So recently in this year, we was talking to someone we hadn't seen in 1,000 years. And she really went out of her way to try to tell us something about our mom that wasn't pleasant. I don't know if it was true or not, because we didn't know my mom like that. But I thought to myself, how much time we waste on sharing bullshit. See, my mother's always going to be a saint to me because I've seen her work. I'm a product of her work. I'm one of her masterpieces. And it says something about you when you want to go out the way to say something about a person. I don't even remember you helping us at all when we were out here in California, struggling. So we waste a lot of time on bullshit. You know, I was very proud of my sisters because, you know, we could be some hell raisers, but they just smiled on this person like, I ain't seen you since I was 3. You know, it's when one of my sisters said, like, this heifer don't even know us. But, you know, we respect the older people. And I thought to myself, that was a testament to my mother. That was a testament to this woman right here, to May. May has shown, and even now through the grave, she continues to show us all the lessons she was giving us. That we felt like, man, my mom is so strict, man. My mom, man. You know, because you're a kid, you want your mom to say yes to everything. My mom would be like, no, we don't do that. No, we weren't raised that way. I mean, even in the midst of the crack era, that's why you can't tell me shit about that crack era. And I'm not talking about the addicts or the people who sold the shit. I mean, seriously, I'm talking about the impact that era had on everybody who was trying to survive the invaders, whether it was the invaders were the users or the sellers. On the regular people, my mother still held fast to her morals, to her principles, which were not easy. So my mother died when she was 52, and I'm like 3 years off of that. And I think to myself, wow, that's very young. Sometimes I don't even feel as old, you know, as I am. I'm 49. I just, you know, I grew up watching the Jeffersons. You know, they were supposed to be 40. They had them with 50 gray hairs, you know, bent all over. You know, greetings, Sequestra. Greetings and things like Leticia. And so I reflect on my mom a lot. So she's one of those people that she has shaped me. She has helped me to make it through a lot of stuff, even right now, when I have to deal with people in their shortcomings, if you will. I reflect on my mom, and I know that all is well. All is totally well when I reflect on her. So also during this time of the year, and I'm just sharing some things with you all, I reflect a lot on the work. And for me, the work has always been about Black girls and women, because Black girls turn into women. But it's always been about them, almost always. I hope I share this right one. Let's see if it's the right one. No, that's not the right one. Hold on, man. Yeah. Give me a minute to stop sharing this. Okay, I'm gonna hit the right one. So we'll try to share again. And it must be this one. Okay. So I found a bunch of pictures, and this one I'm gonna kind of make this bigger. If you can see this, this is like a group of girls and women. This is like a 10-year ago picture, by the way. So this is when the Birthing Project was up and running under Catherine Hall Trujillo. And be clear. But also this is when Javon Muhammad worked there as a midwife, incredible administrator, executive. I mean, Javon is the bomb. Like, she came, her and Sister Kenya Fekbemi. They used to do this workshop with me called The Female Body Beautiful, and they will talk about the workings of your body as a girl, as your young girl, as a woman. I used to love when they would come speak to my girls. Good morning, Christine. I don't know if you were in this picture or not, because this is like 10 years ago. But right on, sis. Very young, passed away at 51. I'm just seeing the comments, sis. I'm sorry. I'm a product of the work. Oh, thank you, dear sis. Thank you. Good morning, Kelly. So in this picture, it's like 2010. So I've been doing this work with girls since the early 2000s, like 2001. And a lot of these girls now are mothers or wives, have children, are doing awesome work, got their degrees. I mean, they're living their life. And so for me, it's all about going back to the basics. This is what my sessions would look like every Thursday. And I remember those, when I look back on these pictures, they really helped me to understand my work and why I'm really here. Let me make this bigger. Why I'm really here. This program was birthed out of a place of love called the Birthing Project. And the Birthing Project was started by women. It was started by 10 women. And they were all matched up with a community, with a pregnant teen or woman, Black teen or woman, because our infant mortality rate was so high. So Catherine Hall had the idea of, she worked for the state. What would happen if Black folks, now listen to this magical idea, but if you know Black folks, you know that this is who we really are. That's why you can't take the Black out of shit, because you want white people to love you. You have to know the real history. This is how we survived slavery. We didn't survive slavery because there were nice white people. That's not how that worked. We survived slavery because we depended and we relied on each other. There was a moral code there. So basically, she had the idea that I'm going to recruit my friends and we're going to all mentor or shelter or sister friend, if you will, one pregnant teen or woman until that baby is born, until the baby turns 1. And that's how you build families. So in working there, which I love that concept because we need that. I used to always do all the intakes for the teenagers, but every time I would go do an intake, I would always see a teen who was not pregnant. And then the next thing you know, a couple of months later, I'll be coming back to do her intake because she would be pregnant. So I thought to myself, that's not good. We have to figure out a way to make sure she gets help before she becomes pregnant to get help. Y'all hear that? So when I hear people talking about how fucked up the teens are, I be thinking to myself, there's a bunch of teens who are fucked up, but you don't see them until they are fucked up. That's a problem. That's some real backwards thinking. It really is. And so my dream was to work with girls because I was one of those girls who did not get pregnant as a teenager, who had dreams and goals, but didn't quite know how to get there. You know what I mean? And so I started the Academy of Dreams. As a matter of fact, it was called the Judge Alice Lytle Academy of Dreams. Because if you know Judge Alice Lytle, she did a lot of very progressive things inside of the juvenile court and inside of when you have your kid, like in childcare or whatever, before you go to court and stuff like that, she brought all that stuff in. Like Judge Alice Lytle. So you got to know about these sheroes behind the scenes that even though they're on the bench, they still moving things forward. And we don't talk about those great heroes. So I'll speak her name this morning, Judge Alice Lytle. Always supported Black girls in their dreams. She always supported the Academy of Dreams. Always. That's why we named it for her. So she's an ancestor now, but she left a mark that I'm still feeling, and that a lot of young people are benefactors of, because of Judge Lytle and those like her, whose names we may never know. So even though you went before her in court, you know what I mean, she still tried to figure out a way to best help you. And the sister was from Harlem. I think she was the youngest of 9, and she had a pretty big family. You know what I mean? So we always salute her. We always honor Judge Lytle, because even though she was, you know, a judge, which is not a bad thing, she wasn't just a judge judging you. She also volunteered. She also was a mentor to a pregnant woman that we just talked about. You know what I mean? Who she sheltered that woman and her child through, and they were still connected. Tell me about the spirit of Black people and what we do when our backs are against the wall, when we have no other options. We rely on each other. We see this thing through. We see our people through. You know, we are touching generations' names we will never know, but because of the acts and deeds that we do in this moment, will affect 7 generations, some say, forward. I look at this picture. Some of these young ladies call me. I don't even remember half their names, but I was so grateful because I watched them do a lot of bonding exercises. The beautiful thing in here, and I'm going to try to get back to show this next picture, Sister Javon, this is how we would meet, y'all. This would be gobs of girls. I mean, just, they would be ready to go. This is a Thursday night, family. This is when we did a little photo shoot. This was Javon and Kenya. They would come. Kenya with her baby. Now her baby's a teenager. That's how, you know, she's like a tween or something now. And she would, because she's a doula, you know, and now she's I think she's a director over at Her Health First. But she, you know, she used to come and talk about your body, how it worked. They would show videos. They would all get their packets of the self-examination kits. That's what they would get. And each girl would go home and do their own, you know what I'm saying? But they would show them how to do it and all that. It was just so incredible. And Jay, I mean, this is like stuff they did voluntarily. I didn't have money to pay them. This is the group. I'm looking at some of these girls like I've seen some of them as adults. I mean, they was learning. This is stuff we don't, you can tell it's serious because look at how everybody looking at this picture. I love with Javon, they breaks it down. They break it down. You know, this is Javon, that's them showing the video. Javon also with the girls, and it would be packed in there. Of course, this is pre-COVID, you know, but this would be packed in there, these sessions, because, you know, you could ask anything. Javon would also talk about Black women getting their love story. And I'm going to be very honest, that was one of my favorite parts of watching them do the workshop. When Javon would talk about Black women getting their love story. You say, well, what is that? You know, we all have our dreams of who we're going to marry or who we want to be with and have children with or whatever. And because we live in a society where we're pushing all of these new people rights in to be whoever they want to be, we forget the basis of the people who never had the opportunity, because Black folks, we didn't come here as a family unit. If you came here as a descendant of enslaved people, you didn't come here as a family unit. We didn't all run across the border together as a family. We didn't all come over here on an airliner or, you know, or aircraft or on a boat or whatever as a family with our language and everything intact when we got here. We've always gotten here as broken people, if you will. And then we had to fight to be together. And so she would talk about this. What does it mean to get your love story? She would talk about that love story. Hey, sis. And I used to love when she says, I want Black women and girls, you know, Black women in particular, to get their love story. And I used to be like one of the girls in here. I would be sitting there listening to Javon. In this case, I'm taking pictures. But she would really talk about how important it is for Black women to get their love stories. Because beyond all the bullshit of us wanting to have freedoms, I want to do this like I want to do. Whenever you make choices, for the most part, it always impacts everybody. It impacts everybody. So you just don't get to really go do you. That's the bullshit people feed us while they support about a whole nation of people. And we over here pissing in the wind by ourselves. So Javon would always talk about getting that love story. What would it look like if you created your own of what you wanted? Man, I love Javon. Javon is one of my sheroes because I've watched her do things out the box and to stand up for Black folks' culture. You know, unapologetically. She didn't give a damn. I love that about it. This is what the class looked like. It would be packed in there every Thursday. Look at Kayla. Kayla like 30 something now. Lord Jesus, I'm old. But there they are in there. Okay, so this is what the session would look like. This was called the Female Body Beautiful. And as I look back on the work, and for me, I'm going right back to those basics. Next year, I'm doing 10 by 10. People say, Londa, what is 10 by 10? 10 by 10 is when I'm going to have 10 cohorts of 10 girls for next year to work through. And they'll mostly be paid internships, meaning they'll earn a stipend, but it'll be 3 cohorts of 10 that will be middle school girls, and the other 7 will be high school and college girls. Because y'all, we got to take it back to the basics. We got to really, a lot of our kids, young women, see, my thing is I'm concerned with women. Now y'all can do the boys and stuff like that, because it always gets me how women would be so supportive of boys and their daughters would be laying right there bleeding to death with shit. I think sometimes when women do that, they don't give a damn about themselves. You know, if you want to impact the nation, you definitely have to hit that woman. That's why in warfare, when you're trying to destroy your enemy, you go for the woman. You know, you try to, because rape is an act of warfare. So if you really want to disturb people and their root of their culture and how they survive, you have to hit that woman. You got to. You have to leave your seed, as they say. So for me, I want to go back to the basics of working with Black girls and women hard. I want Black girls and women to get their love story, as Javon said. I want Black girls and women to know how to work a computer for real, not social media, but how to get on this computer and make it work for yourself and use it as the tool that it's supposed to be used for. We can't assume because our kids know how to post stuff on Facebook, or they don't even use Facebook, probably Instagram, whatever it is that they're into. It doesn't mean they have computer skills. And we know we live in the era where computers are everything. More of us probably have 3 to 4 computers in our home. You know what I'm saying? So we got to make sure our girls are okay so they can make the right decisions. Somebody told me once, and I think this is why I don't really trip off. I mean, I think there are Black women who are feminists. Good morning, Queen Mother Tony. Black women who are feminists, I think that's their way. I'm not against it. I worked for feminists for like 25 years. So, people find their own way. But this is what I know to be true. I'm okay with being the God. I'm okay with being the producer of the God. Let's put it like that. I'm so okay with that. Yeah, that's Javon Muhammad right there. I didn't even tell the computer to do that, but that is Javon right there. And so you have to own that. You don't get to shy away from it and be like, I'm just a woman. Like, no. You really are the one who sets all of this off. And so it's okay for you to stand in your power firmly. You don't have to back down. You don't have to shrink. You don't have to think that you have to show your body or have the baddest hair weave or, like that doesn't make you a woman at all. That really has nothing to do with it. These are things that we perk up. It's kind of like these clothes don't really mean much to me if inside of me I'm not made of nothing. But the basics, we got to make sure our girls have the basics so that when they choose whoever their mate will be, when they are creating realities through people that they may never see, that they would be equipped to do so. That's what I'm concerned with. Oh, no, thank you, Queen Mother. So when I look at this picture with Javon doing the Body Beautiful, I remember those days. I have to bring those days back. This is for my sessions, I just do huge sessions like this all the time, and I loved it. And I would have to hate if I had to cancel it. But what I'm going to do this time, a little different. I've been doing that work for years, y'all. Like I'm just showing you some of my pieces. I've been doing this work for years. But we have to, our babies need us, and they need us to step up in a major way. This has been my work. I really, really miss, and I'm going to share this too. I'll share this because I really miss doing what we used to call grandma hands. I mean, and we talk a lot about the young people because I'm all down with young people. Anybody know me? That's my pet peeve. I love young people. But what I also come to learn even more is that if we don't figure out how to put our elders in the mix, that's how Black people disappear. That's what people don't tell you. This is one of our grandma hands. So these are grandmothers that we honored in our community. And every time I meet Black people from some other part of the world, and I've had some young Black folks from South Africa one year come to the grandma hands. And one of them said to me, and it wasn't like an insult or nothing, she was really shocked because the imagery she gets of Black folks and what we tend to share sometimes in our wanting a need to be okay is that we don't have culture. We're Americans. And I'm like, Black folks have culture. We have unique cultures because we had a unique circumstance. And so we got to honor those elders. We got to have more interactions between, the old and the young. You can't just focus on young people and not focus on old people because both of them exist in the same exact time in the same exact place. When we do grandma hands, look, these are young girls in here. They're the ones who basically, work with the mamas. We got to have both. It's got to be a balance, family, because here's the real truth. We keep starting over in the Black community because somehow we believe, because this is what I learned from my mama, blessed memory, that no one can really beat you unless you allow them to, unless you buy the narrative. So I'm always that person like, well, that's not true for my tradition. I'm not going to let you tell me that we ain't shit. I'm not going to let you tell me that Black folks is somehow the last people on the planet and we need other people to validate us. Bullshit. You don't get to tell me that. So I know how powerful we really are. I know that the Black woman, she births the nation. So if that's the case, if I really want to impact the nation, I have to impact that woman. It don't mean we leave the man out. But hell, even men know that the buck stops with us. Even they know that. It's not about the fakery of like their manhood because we don't really have no control over that as much as, people would like to think because we're all human beings and we really do have control over ourselves. Yes, we do, Khadijah. And I'm big on that. Let me just show y'all. This is one of the earlier men of honors. The grandma hands. I just got to show y'all this and why this is so important for me. Like, I think part of my life's mission when the ancestors, the great spirit, whatever we want to call that energy, sent me down here as Rolanda, I really believe this was part of my mission. That's why I don't trip on it being my mission. This is Sister Takara. I think Takara must have been like straight out of high school on this picture. She was still in high school probably at this time. This was 2014. So she was still in high school. But this is what you do at grandma hands. You hug people. You say thank you to them. Look at this. You say thank you. They're congratulating them. Thank you for being there. Thank you for taking care of us. What must it be like to be in a community that says thank you to you while you're living? Not while you're dead in the ground and you hope they hear you in spirit, but in person to say thank you. We come to celebrate you. This is the line of people going around to say thank you. These are the honorees in that particular year. We've honored over close to 100 Black women in Sacramento with Grandma Hands Awards. This year we're going to do it virtually in 2011. Couldn't do it in 2020 because that's when the pandemic hit. But there they are. Each one of them get to sit in the chair and tell us who they are, who their story. We get to say to them how we felt about them. Thank you for helping me. Thank you for saying, for looking out for me, for my community, for my family. Thank you for hanging in there, Big Mama. Thank you for taking care of us when you thought your job was done. Thank you for, helping me. Miss Collier right there. I think I got a couple of pairs of her shoes because, we wear somewhat of the same size. But thank you for looking out, and it's a very touching moment because most times we don't always say thank you to people who are elders in our community. We too busy feeling like this is some of my girls who I got to get these little shots. And these some of my babies that come to help to celebrate. And they young women now. Both of these young ladies are mothers now. You see what I'm saying? So at some point we have to just say thank you. These are all the pictures I'm pulling from. Look at these beautiful smiles, y'all. We have to say thank you. Because if we do this right, one day we will be an elder. And being an elder in the Black community should mean something. If you consider all the stuff that we've been through, it should mean something to be an elder. I don't know where this blue screen came from. I'm going to stop the share so I can fix this blue screen. It should mean something, family. It should mean something. And sometimes I feel very sad because sometimes it feels like it don't mean nothing. It feel like it don't mean anything in our community. And it should mean everything. I'm gonna skim through these rules. It definitely should mean something to get up and say to somebody, thank you. Thank you for taking care of me. Thank you for making sure, my kid got what they need for school. Thank you for being it. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for looking at me and seeing the best in me when I didn't see the best in myself. Thank you for holding me up. Thank you for making sure I have food so my kids will have a good holiday. Thank you for staying in there and staying late with my baby when I couldn't get to them after school. Because we honor everybody. One lady we honored didn't have any birth children. And she had touched like 3 generations of children. And people's parents was in there like, I remember when I was a kid, the things you did for me. And what a wonderful way to say thank you. I think we got to remember that, family. I think we got to remember that we are all that we have as Black people. We are all that we have. And really, we are all that we need, honestly, with some integrity. This is Grandma Hand. These are people who are coming to salute them. These are people getting up, saying thank you to people. They got a proclamation from a city councilman, and a state senator, something from the mayor's office, and then we give them a Grandma Hand award. We want them to go on the record. So 100 years from now, you look up and they say, no, Black folks, we did Grandma Hands. We honored our elders. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. I don't know what tradition y'all come from, but we honor the people we love. We say thank you in my culture. We love our elders in our culture. We respect them. We give thanks for their life. And you just never know. Some of our grandma now are elders. And so as they left, they know that we cared for them, that we celebrated them, that we said thank you to them. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving birth to us who have given birth to many others. So we celebrate Grandma Hands. And we got to say thank you. Because without them, we could not even exist. So that's for the grandmas. But then, anybody know me? Because I believe in the whole package. Don't get it twisted. So if we have great women, right? Then we must have great men. Right? Come on, family. We must have great men in our tradition. Of course we have great men in our tradition. Because, we're not standing here by ourselves. We're not standing here by ourselves. I'm trying to find out. I got some men of honor here, but they mixed in with everything else. So I think this is it right here. But we have the men of honor. So we honor Black men in our community. We honor Black men. So every year we do something called the Men of Honor, which is coming up soon. Wow. And we have not Men of Honor just in Sacramento. We also have the Men of Honor in Philadelphia as well. And theirs just kept popping up. So I got to find the one in Sacramento. We did one last year. That was great. I think that is mixed in with my regular pictures. Let me see something here. Let me slow down. I think I'm moving too fast. Okay, here we go. It should be right over here somewhere. Sister Christine is saying, yes, Priestess. Oh, hey, Tracy. She said, a lot of young Black women self-esteem with talk. Right on. Thank you, sis. Thank you. You're an awesome mom. You're an awesome mom, an awesome mother. Right on, Tracy. Right on. I see you with your daddy there. in that picture. That's what's up. There it is. It's sitting right in my face. Okay, so look, I found the men honor. We also honor men in our community. This is one of the men honor right here. Let me see if I can show this real quick. So not only do we honor young people, not only do we honor our elders, but we also honor the men in our line. Because without the men, y'all, we couldn't get here. I think the Creator did that on purpose. Because if either one of us had the power to create people without the other half, the world would be real messed up. Seriously, we would be set tripping for real. So, we have everything as the woman, but hell, if you ain't got that man, your eggs would be old and stale. But we do have to say thank you, like for real, like really thank you. And these are men that we honor, that the men honor. This is one year we honored men right there. I see Brother Keith Herron, I see Brother Michael, Steve Streeter, Brother Hawk, so we honor them, the men honor. This is them right there, brothers, before they do a group shot. And then again, young people, look at these two brothers hugging each other. Family, we talk about violence in our street, but how can we get black men to be right like this? This was after everything was over, because I could tell by the way that this is a family that came up to support their man who was being honored. Brother Nasir, good brother. The good brother Keon, he co-hosts it with me. This is coming up next Saturday night at 6. This Saturday coming up, we're going to be doing a men honor virtually. We're still honoring black men. We're still honoring black men. You know what I'm saying? There's people right like, hey, people come out to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? People come out. They go, Brother Michael Kraft, good brothers in our community. Out there celebrating, y'all. Out there celebrating. Hold on, family. Hold on just a minute. So we going down the line, and these are people who coming out. So that's me, because I'm directing the thing. But we gotta celebrate our men. Look at that. This is what make good men. I mean, look at the smile on their faces. So we gotta uplift our brothers. We gotta uplift them, our brothers, our elders, our young people, our women. We gotta lift up our community. That's our job. No one else is gonna do that for us. No one else. It ain't even a job. I learned that from my mama. When we keep thinking it's somebody else's job to give us what we must give ourselves. Let me show y'all this last picture right here of the men honor. This is the last picture of the men honor. I'm gonna show y'all. This is our job, family. This is no one else's job to lift us up but us. Everything else is just extra. That's what I learned from my mom. This is the men honor. Everything else is extra. Everything else is extra. You feel me? Sister Sequestia, another beautiful, awesome queen mother. Thank you for the discussion. As an elder, I sometimes feel forgot about my community. Yes, you do, Sister Sequestia. This is a queen mother right here. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you do. I think sometimes we buy into the narrative, that peace, this person saying hi. We buy into the scenario that it's all about the young people. No other culture does that, get that pushed on them the way black folks do. And I have to always say, I am here because I'm a part of a continuum. I only get to be here because of the continuum. Because I had a mother and a father and an auntie and my great-grandmother and great-granddaddy and all. That's the only reason why I'm here. Because they had not just come, but they chose to survive. So I'm always, any chance I get, if I can sit at the feet of my elders, I'm always at the feet. Anybody who know me, I love elders. I want to hear their stories. I want to hear how did they survive. Matter of fact, I gotta hear it. I just gotta hear it. I gotta hear, how did y'all make it through? The song says, sometimes I look back and wonder how I made it over. I want to hear those stories of how you made it over. How did you prepare, food to feed your whole community? You only had enough for yourself. How did we make sure we were okay, even when we were under harsh conditions? How did we do it? How did we make it through that crack era? Because I don't know about y'all, but that's when it took out such awesome people. But somebody had to come through. Here's grandma hands again. I have to show you how it looks in your community when you honor people. How it looks, how we feel, how we build up black people. You could try to take us out, but it ain't possible. We're the original people, family. You got to know what that elder went through. You got to know what it was like for that person to fall in love when they was young. You got to know what their journey was because you're on the journey. We got to know the days that they seen because we will see those same days. Will we react differently? I think you would if you had better information. I think you would definitely react differently. But if you don't know the story and you let somebody make you think that your people's story ain't worth nothing because they embarrassed by what they thought they people went through, you know, we buy into narratives that people tell you about yourself. And I say buy into because you have the power. I have a great nephew. I love all my great nieces and nephews and nephews and nieces, whatever. But I have one great nephew that when he wants to do something, he will do it. I could tell him no 10 times. And he'll look at me like, mm-hmm. And then I go, he's going right back to what he was going to do. That right there is that will and that determination that Black people have had and still continue to have to survive. I don't let people tell me the number one urgency in the Black community is youth violence when I have youth out here trying to find a job. When I have youth out here who are trying to find their families and their place in the family. Come on, y'all. We're too great for that. We're too great for that. That's why I'm always trying to put together shows where we could talk about our greatness. Today, at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be on here with Brother Jamil, and we're going to talk about, I have this series called The Soul of Music, because I think music celebrates us. Music uplifts us and empowers us. You know, music is like the soundtrack it's like how we have air flowing, air flowing through us. That's how we're able to breathe and live, the breath of life. I think music is the same way. I was explaining to my girls in my class on Thursday how humming is a way of communicating, is such a way of expressing. That's how dope Black people is. That's how awesome we are. That we can hum our way through something. Don't play with me. Don't let people sell us short. I learned that from elders. I learned that from watching elders work their way through. I learned that from elders when they could not use their tongue to maybe say their words of disappointment. They would say it through a hum. That's how incredible we are. So we must celebrate ourselves. We must celebrate elders. We can't let people tell us how awesome we are not. Sometimes when I'm watching stuff on TV, I can say, I'm so tired of seeing these other people. I gotta look at so sometimes I just be watching stuff that probably get on my last nerve, but I watch it anyway. I just watch it anyway. Because I want to see us. I want to see us celebrating us. The last thing I'm going to share with y'all, because time is winding down, and thank y'all all for commenting this morning. As I said, I'm just going to come and talk to the people this morning. Right on. Because without them, sequestered, without my elders and my ancestors, I am really nothing. I have no mission without them. None. No mission. One of the other things I do, I call in February, I do the Harriet Tubman Youth Leadership Awards, but then also I do something called Black Excellence, where basically I celebrate Black young people who have graduated or completed school. Like just to say, hey, y'all, we see y'all, but also because we have like a good, the food, just to show you how I'm bringing in culture. We have Caribbean food, African food, and soul food. So they get to taste a little bit of all of it. But one of the things I get the young people to do in both of those ceremonies, I always ask them to stand up and tell us what are their future plans. What are we to expect from them? So right here, here's a mom talking to her daughter, saying how proud she is that she's completed school and that whatever she can do to support her, she will. Don't tell me how Black folks, we don't get up and we don't celebrate each other. You have fathers talking to their sons, to their daughters, hugging them in front of the whole community and saying, I love you. I see you. I uplift you. See, I believe at the end of all this, family, at the end of all of this thing, when they're researching what Black people were like and doing, I would pray that these things will pop up. And they can say, no, no, Black people celebrated each other. No, no. This is a whole cafeteria full of people celebrating their young people. This one right here is at Help Professions. See if I can back up out of this a little bit so I can find some good pictures in here. Because in the end, it looks like this, family. It's a big ass circle. And we are surrounding young people. And we are saying to them, what do y'all need to be great? What do y'all need to be great? Could you imagine what that's like, that you would stand before your community with your child and tell them how much you love them, and that what part of their birth story or how they changed your life or vice versa or whatever it is, and then they get to tell you, well, this is what you can expect of me. These are my dreams to add on to the continuum. You know how powerful that is? Instead of us selling the narrative that all we do is kill each other, which we know is a lie, more of us are loving each other every day. Right now, we are in December. We have come through almost a year being in a quarantine. I've watched people, like I watched in the crack era, support people who had less of. I watch people watch other people's children so they can go to work and make money. I watch people who came up in the foster care system and now they're adults and they don't have a lot of family claim and find family. We cannot leave out the greatness that is us. Can't do it. And we cannot let other people do that to us. We have to remember that we are all that we have. And that really is enough. That's really enough. I often think about my mother. I think about my mom a lot. I'm going to show you these pictures of her before I wrap up. And the reason why I'm showing you these pictures of her, through all that we have been through as a people, this is the woman who taught me how to live and to love, to share all that we have, that there is always more. She would always say, there is always enough, she would say. And even though her life was only 52 years, she has left me and my siblings volumes. That's my sister Renee and my brother Ross when they were children. My sister Renee is an ancestor now. She has 2 daughters here. She has 3 grandchildren here. And she is alive and well. See, we really never die. This is what I figure out. You die a physical death. Because all of this is physical. All of us have an expiration date. But spiritually, you will always live. It depends on the work that you did while you were alive. That's why it's important how you live your life, how people see you. So every time I look at my sister Renee, I see my nephew Zakai. And when I see my nephew Zakai, I see my sister Renee. When I see my niece Courtney, I see my sister Renee. When I see my niece Drea, I see my sister Renee. Because you never really die. We are just all waiting to be born again and again and again. And we keep coming back. There's my nephew Chavez as a baby. His son is who I was talking about earlier that I said is so determined. That looks exactly like his son right now. I have a picture, they look like twins. Same person. So you'll be here forever. Look at my mom and her siblings. And all of them are ancestors except for, I think, for 2 in this picture, Aunt Florence and Aunt, oh God, not Dolores, Gladys. But my Aunt Winnie's an ancestor and George's an ancestor, and that's my mom right there, being just as silly as she can be. But I remember their cooking. I remember, that's in the summertime, probably at a family reunion or something. I remember all that. Look at my mom with my siblings at my brother's wedding, my brother Ross's wedding, my brother Rotel. Look at my mom, look at me, Dottie, and Khadijah. There we all are. This woman made a way out of no way. So I don't know about y'all, but when you go to a wedding and you see the parents come in and whatever, my mother come in somewhere. Because my dad was there, but my mom was there all the time, never left the children at all. She earned that title. So somebody trying to tell you he's falling out their head in 1957, I wouldn't give a fuck. Excuse me, y'all, I didn't mean to cuss, but that just came out. I don't really care. I don't even know why you want to tell me that. Who cares? Who cares? Nobody want to hear that. You know, like when people leave, all of those mistakes are erased. Because you can't do nothing about them no way. These are my mom's descendants. This is a hella old picture. This had to be like, I don't even know. Look at Courtney, Drea. Oh, Lord, let me see if I can bring this in. Oh, there was some more kids down there. Who felt like this? Look at my nieces. These are all the girls at the time. Look at Renee's 2 daughters, my sister Renee's kids, and Booby's daughters, Dottie's daughters, Khadijah's daughter, everybody up in here. It's my mom. It's my mother's children. The only person that's missing in here is 2, which is Renee and Ross. This must have been like a holiday or something. That's at my brother Botel's house. It's called Legacy, family. This is us acting a fool. My sister Dottie. And they were her children, who are now adults. This is them. This is us. So at the very end of this, family, all you have is your legacy. How you live your life. Will people miss you when you go? Will people even remember you, that you came to the planet? What would they say about you? I got in the mail 2 weeks ago a certificate from the United States of America for my Uncle Stanley, who served in World War II. Because I helped him to get his marker for his burial. So we remember Uncle Stanley. He was the person who kept my whole family together. He was the first child of 2 deaf and mute parents. None of their children came out deaf because they weren't born deaf. One story say my grandmother went into the hospital for the scarlet fever and came out with no eardrums. I don't know. That's the story I heard. Heard that her husband, my grandpa Newman, fell off a horse and lost his hearing. So they weren't born deaf. But the fact that that is a part of my background, and I get to stand here now as a descendant of a people who have chosen to survive, who have chosen to live, who knew that the secret of life is not really how people see you, but how you see yourself, how you move on the planet, how you feel about yourself, how do you talk to people, how do you feel, how do you make people feel? They knew that the secret of life is how we treated each other, how we loved on each other, how we respected our ancestors, how we remembered our ancestors, how we treat our elders, how we treat each other, how we celebrated the young and the babies. How do we welcome them onto the planet when they come? Are we excited when a Black woman is pregnant? We should be. We should be so excited that here has been bestowed upon this woman and this man to bring forth yet another continuum so that we may never, ever truly die in the spirit world. In the spirit. See, it's Sunday morning. And some of us is going to talk about how good God is. And that's good. But God is only as good as you. We are just all reflections of the Most High. We are all continuums. Would I say your God is wicked? Or would I say your God is righteous? Because I only see God when I see you. That's the real testament, family. And so on this day in December, look out after your young. Look out after your old. Make sure everyone is okay. We are in the darkest time on the planet, where there's shorter days and longer nights. And we know that in the nights, that's where things crawl in. Those dark feelings, those things that make you feel empty and isolated, they crawl in the darkness because you can't see them. But I say, even in the darkness, there's always a light. Will you live your best life in this light? Can you do it? And I say, yes, you can do it, because our ancestors have done it. People have done it many moons before us who did not have half the freedoms that we have. Come on this morning, family. So as we are in this space, now that we're in the time mainly of reflection, how will we reflect upon our lives? If it was all over tomorrow or even today, what will people say about your life and you? I'll tell you this from personal experience. When my father died on Christmas Eve 2 years ago, in 2 years, Christmas Eve. And, we was on good terms and everything. I hadn't spoke to him like in a year and a half. We were some disagreements or whatever. And then we got back to speaking and I sent him on a road trip, blah, blah, blah. And so even though I had my feelings about how I felt about him as a man, so I talk a lot about my dad as I wrap this up. I'm talking a little bit about my dad before I wrap this up. My dad was a good man, but drugs got in the way. And then ego getting in the way. And then all kind of other shit. And we cleaned that up. But at the end, when he died and when it was over, because I seen him on Thanksgiving and went spent the week with him, and I didn't know he was gonna be dead before Christmas. I just didn't know. You understand? But when he died, all of that anger that I felt, like that was still there about what he didn't do or what he did do, or how I felt about him doing X, Y. That shit like erased so quickly that it was just like it was like air. Like I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't even see it. It just evaporated. And all I could think about with him was all the good times. Him making SOS, him being a jokester, him, just trying to do the best he can with what he had. That's all I could think about with my dad. I couldn't think about none of the other bad stuff for some reason. That had all left. And all I could think of was the golden moments of him, of us, of our family. That's all I could think about. I couldn't remember nothing. I couldn't remember why I was so pissed off at him. I couldn't remember nothing. And then it dawned on me, like a ton of bricks, that really in the end, that's really what it's all about. Either you'll remember people or you'll rush to forget them. But in the ending of it, all I could remember was that part of my dad that I inherited, that people love a lot, that laughing and smiling and joking, and that's really what I inherited. At the very end, I really remembered that that's really all people know about you in the end anyway, is the way you made them feel. The gifts that they have given you. My dad has given me many gifts. Many gifts. So I'm going to leave y'all with this image because I'm out of here. If you haven't, you need to kneel down and you need to salute your ancestors wherever they buried. That is where my great-great-grandmother, Winnie Parks, and my great-grandmother, Georgia Wheaton, and my grandmother, Alice Newman, and my uncles and them are buried. That's their headstone. So if you haven't given thanks to your ancestors, you need to, because without them, you could not exist. And I can't tell you how glad and grateful I am that I was not able just to find where they were buried, that there was a marker in their place for them. There was a marker for them. And with that, family, I give thanks to you, and I pray that you have a good day. I got on that same outfit right now. I didn't match that up, y'all. Thank y'all for listening to Sunday Sit with Sisters. It is always, always a pleasure to come and talk to y'all in the morning. Y'all, let's be good to each other. Peace and blessings.